where just kind of as a reminder, my little thing of a tough talk isn't meant to be easy, because doing the right thing is hardly ever easy. And that's okay. I put that in there every time because I just think that's such a simple truth to keep yourself mindful of, and to help us learn how to just take a breath as we are in our different paths in life. But then always it's just a little bit of info about what's happening with different talks, ways to participate or even to contact me. And this will have information about some of these other things I'm going to be doing with Tough Teas and Tough Round Tables, as well as sometimes different informative links and a recap list. And then always the different Zoom link to get into our Zoom where it happens. By the way, the Zoom link you used to get here, well, I say this now and then I realize this is redundant. It's the same link that can get you into these every time, except not anymore, because this is the last one. It's going to be different when we start these up in January. Fun little fact for myself, because it was just part of my motivation, but the password, I think I asked this one time and then I don't think I ever got an answer, but that has been for these tough talks. Not that many of you have ever had to use the password. BT651993, June 5th, 1993, Breonna Taylor's birthday. Just a little fact in there, because I like to do that stuff. Again, I theme it. There is, like I was saying, a Tough Talk recap playlist that you see on here. It says Tough Talk and Tough Tea episodes, and eventually we'll have added to that Tough Round Tables, as that's going to be a part of the series. This is available on YouTube, and I'm going to even just reshare this link right now in the chat for everyone. But this is available for everyone and anyone to view. It's unlisted, so you just have to have the link to get to it, but it's also fully open for everyone. If you ever have anyone who's asking about what Tough Talks are about, share this list. If you're ever looking to see different things that have happened in sessions you might have missed, check out the list. Or if you're just trying to review things from sessions, check out the list. Not everything is on here, because I always say you got to be in the Zoom where it happens in order to be in the Zoom where it happens. But there are plenty of different episodes, different sessions from things that, again, in the beginning, it talks about these different principles, as I like to call them, as well as explaining, like, this whole first few things is explaining more of like what the whole series is about and why I came to do it and all of that. So if there's ever anyone that's asking like, well, what is it? Definitely, if you get through the first couple episodes, it's like a binge on Netflix. You know, if you watch the first couple episodes, you're gonna get it and you're gonna be in. But just have people start with the first couple of kind of clips to this. But it does start back at June and carries through different things that we talked about a lot through that month, because I was like all right in it with the editing madness. But then as well, some from July, a little in there as well from August, from September. Getting down into, I was able to just get some posted from Race, Religion, and America from this past week. And so those should be up and viewable very shortly. But then I did want to just highlight in here a couple of the Tough Tea episodes as they are. So Tough Tea, as I was saying, is a series that I'm starting for just more intimate but still imperative conversations. That's like my hook line. Everything's got to have a hook line. It, I would say, is probably a little bit more geared for those who have been to different Tough Talks, because you definitely get more familiar with my rhythm of how I have these conversations, how I try to have different focuses, but it's really open to everyone and anyone. I have had some Tough Tea sessions, as we've called them, with families that have also, like, they're not part of the episodes, but it's almost like another chance to say, like, for example, I've had mothers who have said, you know, hey, I want to talk to my child about some of these issues. I just don't know if they're going to listen to me, if it's just me, you know, would you mind joining us for like a group thing? And it's part of where I came up with the Tough Tea idea with it, that it was like, oh, great, tell them that we're going to have, like, you know, it's called Tough Tea because it's going to be like an afternoon Zoom tea about tough topics. And so we kind of themed it out, even where it was like, I'm going to have some snacks. I'm going to have, like, you know, soda to drink, you bring a snack, and it almost becomes a little bit more of as if it is like, you know, just chatting a little on how's your day or what are you having? Okay, well, you know what, let's like talk about this and let's talk about that, to kind of put it a little bit more at ease. And that's actually what I still then incorporate in the Tough Tea episodes, as I call them. We have like a beverage of choice and things like that. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this for you to just get a little taste of what a couple of these are like, or at least these first two episodes. This first one I got to do with a wonderful queer drag performer, Miss Amber St. James.
But a 7 is that's a good nice little starting. Oh my god, I'm so excited to be here.
I am so thrilled that you are here. I'm so thrilled you're my first guest. Thank you for being here.
Ooh, yes.
First thing, check in. What is it? It's Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you today?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty hot. Not just because she looks gorgeous, but it's just been real hot in San Diego. But I'm doing probably about a 7. You know, like we're doing pretty good. We're not at like fabulous because if the pandemic was over, that would be lovely. But a 7 is that's a good nice little starting point.
7's good. 7 is good. I feel that. I feel like I'm probably at like somewhere in an 8.5 probably. It's been a good morning. It's been a good start to my day. And then, we're doing Tough Tea here, so I'm just really excited. So it's just feeling upbeat, feeling good,
Yes, we love that on a good old Tuesday, too.
Exactly. Since this is Tough Tea, it is a bit about the beverage. I have some citrus tea in my Grinch mug with me today. What is your beverage of choice for today?
Well, I do have me some good old orange juice. Yes, we love that. Nice and healthy.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
So the first thing I want to ask you, Amber, is what I'm kind of starting these things off with. How are you and 2020 doing? I feel like we all have our own relationship with this year right now. And so how are you in 2020? And that's the teaser that you'll have to, if you want to watch more, I highly recommend you check it out. I'm going to share just one other quick clip too from the second episode that I got to do with my friend Pablo, who has been to some of these as well. Pablo was a former student of mine at Southwestern College, and is just another fantastic, brilliant friend and person. Welcome to Tough Tea, a sub-series of the Tough Talk series to allow for more imperative and intimate conversations on the many different things we're trying to understand and face in today's world. My name is BJ Robinson, and I am your host. My guest for today's Tough Tea is Pablo Villamizar.
How are you doing, guys?
Pablo.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Of course, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We have a bit of history as we've known each other for a few years now and worked with each other in different capacities. So it's great to have you here.
It's great being here, to be honest.
It's nice to get to be here on a Friday morning. It's September 25th, 2020.
Ooh, I remember when it was just January.
It feels like that was yesterday. Well, first thing I want to do is just kind of a little just basic check-in. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? How are you doing?
Personally, I am feeling at about a 9, I would say. I'm feeling pretty great. I'm having no complaints. I am feeling healthy, stable. I mean, my job is pretty low right now. I mean, due to the circumstances. But it's fine. I am not struggling for money, and I'm not struggling to find a house to live at. I have a roof and I have food, so I am doing fantastically in those terms.
That's great. And you being at a 9, that I feel like that lifts me up a little bit. I feel like I'm probably close to like the 5-6-ish mark for myself.
Understandably.
And I feel like your energy brings me closer to a 6 or 7, so that's good and that's nice.
Awesome.
I appreciate
Hopefully
that.
I get it to like an 8 by the end of this.
I think I'll probably be somewhere near an 8 by the end of our session together. So
awesome. Let's hope for it.
Yes, it's hope. It's all about hope, and we're going to be talking about a lot of hope today. Since this is Tough Talk, it's also a bit about the beverage of choice, and we're both already kind of doing that. I got just some simple coffee in my green Grinch mug here. You got a lovely green mug over there.
It's kind of like greenish, brownish tan. I don't know. It's a weird color. I can't perceive this color too well.
Zoom
yeah.
colors are a little awkward, but is that just
Yeah.
regular or decaf coffee?
Oh no, this is regular coffee. I don't do decaf. My body crashes on decaf. It doesn't like decaf. I need to run on real fuel.
I feel that. Decaf is a real thing, but I like to believe in my own head there is no decaf. And we're gonna pause that one right there. Again, I highly recommend checking out these Tough Tea episodes. And if you are interested in setting up your own tea time, as I like to say it, that is something I'm definitely going to be doing more of through not just through December, but also through 2021 with our Tough Talk series. There's always room for more time, for more conversations, and we only ever get to scratch the surface on things in our sessions here together. So it's really great when it can be like, all right, we're just going to take an hour to just like get into whatever we want to get into, to be able to have that and just to voice it and to share it with the world. And thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is good music for beverage stuff. The last part of what I want to do, as once again, I feel like I've just done way too much talking. Anyhow, is just to share a few of my sort of favorite resources from our sessions together. Before we open things up for some conversation. First and foremost is, again, from theoatmeal.com. This is such an excellent comic, their Believe comic, that gets into explaining the backfire effect, which is a process in our brains and our thinking patterns that makes it very challenging at times to compute new information. That sounds like such a simple idea, because it really is, and yet it manifests itself in many, many different ways that at times are not so simple. It can very much become a real complicated barrier, I would say, in our lives often. I'm just doing this to check in the, yes. It's weird, it's not letting me view chat and share at the same time, so I just keep clicking back. Oatmeal's full of excellent resources, and this is just one of them, and so theoatmeal.com is definitely a site I would highly recommend. A source I want to revisit is one that we started with in the beginning, blacklivesmatter.com, because there are still many people to this day who don't understand more than what feels like a slogan with Black Lives Matter. And that's okay, because everyone's at a different place and a different space in their path of education. We have to be mindful of that so that we can continue to help and support others. And so I just want to start with revisiting the blacklivesmatter.com website for a moment to remind people that Black Lives Matter is so many things. At this point, it's an international network. It did start as a hashtag calling for awareness and justice with respect to the murder of Tamir Rice. And then it grew from there to be a full social movement and foundation to organize nonviolent change and awareness of police brutality and social injustice, particularly against Black communities, with regards to police and other government institutions. It's all part of a conversation that has been going on for a very, very long time. You can trace at least writings on the ideas back to W.E.B. Du Bois in 1935, writing about abolition democracy, as it was put then, in trying to understand and speak to the fact that there are institutions that have principles founded on racism. And some of those institutions need to just be reworked, but others just need to be removed. Angela Davis spoke to police brutality throughout the 60s. And so there's a great history to this movement and to what this slogan means to so many different people and organizations and things. At the heart of it, it still just means verbatim what it is. Black lives matter, and it needs to be called out because we live in a world that does not understand that as part of its fundamental being yet. And that's where this movement really tries to start opening the eyes and begin that path of education. And so that might be, you know, where you start in talking to others, getting them to remember that it really starts with just the words. And then it starts with understanding how long this has been going on, instead of thinking it's all just some sort of negative organization. Another one that I wanted to, because we talk about slogans, is defund the police. And I'm going to use Wikipedia here because Wikipedia is an identifiable source for so many people. Whether they want to say they think it's 100% legitimate or not is a whole different idea than whether do you use it or not. And so when we look even at somewhere like Wikipedia with the words defund the police, again, I think it does a great job of just putting it in plain language. Defund the police is a slogan that supports divesting funds from police departments and reallocating them to non-policing forms of public safety and community support. When we're hearing things about a hashtag defund the police, it's surrounded around the idea of divesting funds from police to make things better, not just even abolish the police. That's not what defund the police means. There's a movement for abolish the police, but that's a separate movement. And that can be a separate thing to be discussed. But defund the police is a slogan again. It's words, and it's understanding what goes beyond that. And to take it one step further, for those who have encountered people that, you know, defund the police is going to be a wall for them, try introducing them to 8 Can't Wait. 8 Can't Wait gets specifically into policing policies. Policing policies. It's not trying to say to fire police. It's not saying anything about what you're doing to the police, but it actually speaks to the policies of the system. 8 Can't Wait is a great campaign that gets into explaining, again, 8 simple things that can be done to change policing across this country. This is a great site, again, to help lay that out. And these are all things that I think are very, very easily agreeable with, you know, like ban chokeholds and strangleholds. Require de-escalation. Aren't we always trying to teach everyone to calm things down? You know, ban shooting at moving vehicles. That just sounds really practical, you know? And it's like, wait, places are allowed to shoot at moving vehicles? Oh, you know. And so 8cantwait.org is a wonderful, clear site to help break down people who are just to break it down for those who are trying to understand more about the policy changes. And what's really fantastic is right down here, see how many policies your city has enacted and take action now. You can really take it that step to educate yourself. I'm just going to use San Diego for the example because I'm here and a lot of us are here. And I'm really happy to be able to have us look at this and see that we have 7 out of 8 of these policies in place. Now, I'm terrified that we don't have the one in place to ban shooting at moving vehicles because that seems like a no-brainer. So we'll work on that. I'm going to work on that one because it just scares me. But again, I want to just reiterate and advocate for the source of 8 Can't Wait, 8cantwait.org, even if you just Google it. A couple last things I want to point out. This is a great hotline, Call Black Line, that really does a wonderful job to support Black and Indigenous people of color in times of crisis, in times of need, in moments of just trying to deal with this world. And it's something that I know I have used at least a dozen times this year. I've done some fundraising for it in the past, and so I not only want to advocate for this to raise awareness, but if you're looking for places to donate, if you're looking for organizations to support, I'm specifically calling out. Show some support and donate to Call Black Line. You can get to them at callblackline.com. Please, please, please donate and support and advocate for this organization. I know sometimes people ask about like, where can I start with things? This is another great place to start. Start with donating and advocating to Call Black Line. That's what I'm telling you to do. A couple of the resources I just want to promote quickly. Antiracistartteachers.org. Fantastic. If you're an artist, if you're an educator, and as I talked about during Education in America, we're all educators at this point. Whether you like it or not, we're living in a movement and we're all activated to be educators because we all have something that we need to educate ourselves upon, as well as something that we can probably help others to understand a little bit more. And so this is a great resource, antiracistartteachers.org, and you can also follow them on Facebook and on Instagram. Speaking of social media and Instagram, So You Want to Talk About. That's what they are. So You Want to Talk About. And they are everything that anyone could ever need if you are ever just trying to be able to have more insight, more information, more avenues to figure out where you can find your place in this movement of doing something and helping others to be informed. So You Want to Talk About is the organization to follow, because everything gets talked about with them. Things relevant to the holidays and to COVID, to sex positivity. I love it when it's just, things you didn't learn in school, to following up on Breonna Taylor and 250 Days Without Justice. There's so much to this organization that I highly, strongly, very, very adamantly recommend following up with So You Want to Talk About. And then a couple of other things that I want to highlight, because these are also things people have asked about. Westminster Presbyterian Church, based out of La Jolla, where art meets faith and nature, or where art and faith and nature meet, as it says here in their slogan. I've worked with this parish, and they are absolutely beautiful and wonderful, and they provide so many different insights and resources for bettering ourselves, for working to support our communities and other organizations, be it queer communities, be it lower income communities. I highly recommend them. If you're someone who is looking for a new path in faith that really does walk and talk all of its merit in welcoming one and all, I highly recommend Westminster Presbyterian Church. And the last one I have to highlight with that as well is Christ United Presbyterian Church in South Park. I will simply say I'm really highlighting them because I've just become their choir director, and that already lets me feel that I'm pretty sure they're going to be good at this welcoming one and all thing, because they've gotten to know me and they've asked me to be their choir director. And so I do have absolute faith and trust in Christ United Presbyterian Church's community as well. They even supported talking about Tough Talks in the newsletter, where they talked about me being the choir director. It's been talked about and asked of me to try and do more to provide different resources, insights, advocate for different organizations in different ways. And so that's going to be a part of my due diligence to do that in more impactful ways, including flooding the different media platforms of Tough Talk with that on Facebook, on Instagram, through the different emails going out, as well as really reincorporating that into all of our different sessions. Moving forward, that's also going to mix in with Tough Teas, with Tough Roundtables, to bring just small different groups to have these same kind of conversations in that Tough Tea atmosphere, but kind of having it maybe be like 4 to 5 kind of people instead of just one-on-one, one-on-two kind of thing. As well as having a lot of different guest speakers coming in for our future sessions. There's a calendar that's going to come out soon. I'm going to try to get it out probably for next week. I was going to try and do some for today, but it's okay to take a little more time on it. To talk about upcoming talks, upcoming themes, and different guest speakers for all of those, including revisiting topics we've talked about in the past, as well as adding new ones.